You are Locked On Hurricanes Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Canes fans? And let me just start it right now, and I'll just say it at the start of the show. 9-0, baby. 9-0, Hurricane fans. 53-31, the win over those Duke Blue Devils. Look, I don't want to get too crazy here. Duke came in at 6-2. Hey, they were +6 in the turnover margin against SMU and lost. They're a decent team. Probably should have been ranked ACC better than a lot of people are saying, but still, most people still around the country thinking Miami should have blown out Duke, and they did. They got the win. They got the cover. They got the over. And as we talked about with Alex Dono in the show this week that we do on Fridays, host of Locked On Canes, does a beautiful job. We talked about this earlier this week. They did it in a way, just so you know, obviously you got this right. They did it in a way that that lit up the scoreboard. We talked about not scoring 30 again in the 30s, and they didn't. They got back into the 50s for the 5th time this season. In fact, let me send the invite to Alex now. Get him on in here, the host of the Canes Network postgame show on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Just going to send this to Alex. My name is Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media, at Jim Grease _. And I am really pumped as an alum to see this team close out games like they did today. I'm going to get into it in just a minute. Un momento, por favor. Had to send that link out to Alex for you, though. And first things first, I want to thank you for making us a big part of your week every week. Locked On Canes Postcast. It's your first listen every day with Locked On Canes. The Postcast as well. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. And you know how I feel about FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, just $5, count it, $5, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And by the way, Miami in the over, killing it again for you. Killing it again for you. And I just want to throw something. I'm just going to throw something right now. I got to do it early in the show. Look at Xavier Restrepo. X marks the spot. I'll throw a little tease up there too, Cam Ward. Oh, he had a horrible throw today. Pick and interception was just bad. But let's unpack this, shall we? Duke has now lost 22 straight games to top 5 teams. Look, think about Diaz coming back in here, the defensive coordinator, the turnover chain, became the head coach, had a great start. His record compared to Mario was only a couple of games off. Mario, I believe, 20-13. Diaz, 21-15, his record at Miami. So not much in difference there in terms of the record. But the thing I'll say about this game, and this was crazy, man. If you look at the box score and you look at the scoring in this game, Miami came out and scored the first 14 points in a row unanswered. Just came out going right down the field. But a strange thing happened, right? Miami only had 3 and outs on 3% of its drive this season. Remember, the top scoring offense in the country, the top offense in terms of yardage gained in the country. Not used to 3 and outs, but Miami had 3 of them in the first half against Duke. And Duke went on a 28-3 run. 14 points unanswered. Miami field goal after a 12-play, 87-yard drive. 14 points unanswered. 3 and outs around both for Miami. Duke's defense was playing great. We saw the opportunism that we had talked about coming into the game. And Duke's big plays on offense, man, the plays that they were making, and you knew that they were not going to be able. I mean, how many times could you see Pankol and Jones and just unbelievable catches throughout the game? Jordan Moore had some of the best catches I've ever seen on a football field today. Are you kidding me? And all those plays after everything that Duke did. And remember, it was 14-zip Miami, and Duke literally goes on a historic run. They're making huge plays, big plays, 4-play, 83-yard touchdown drive to get it started. And by the way, thank you for being here with us. Locked On Canes Postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. At Jim Grease _ on social media. Gries. Locked On Canes with Alex Dono every single day for you. And he is here right now in the waiting room, waiting to host the Canes postgame on the network with radio. So we're going to bring him in now. Alex, tell me you weren't sweating bullets, but we talked about this, man. They're back in that 50-point column. And I'll say this, man. That run to close the game, you see it on a 36-3 closeout. After giving up a 28-3 run to Duke, this game was surreal, but we got the W, and we're 9-0.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, so streaky Miami. Now, I think one thing we can agree on was, despite another like a bad, very bad decision, one that he made in the game, Cam Ward was phenomenal. The interception was bad. I don't know why you don't just throw that away. I think sometimes he feels like he's in his bag and he can make a play no matter what. And you know what? He's made so many crazy plays this year. He probably feels invincible sometimes that he can just make a throw like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was a really poor interception by Ward. Thankfully Miami's defense was able to, wake up in that second half, played so much better than they played in the first half. And then in the first defensive possession of the third quarter, and it was getting dicey there, Grease. You mentioned the runs, and when Duke went on that 28-3 run that started in the second quarter and continued into the third quarter, I really thought, hey, even if Miami's offense wakes up, the defense might cost them this football game. Duke, they found the soft spots in Miami's secondary, and at a certain point, Malik Murphy figured out, if I throw it deep down the field, it's either going to be a completion or it's going to be maybe a pass interference. Miami had that one defensive possession late in the second quarter when I got to run, Grease. Have a great rest of your show. I'm sorry to leave you high and dry, but I'm about to get started on WQAM.
Go kill it, buddy. Love you. We'll talk to you soon. Alex Dono right here on the Locked On Canes postcast. And I'll tell you this, man, cardiac cane strike again. You're right, James, and a great one from James. And I hope I say this right. Potager, whatever you say it. Jim, we need a more consistent defense and a much better secondary. You are not kidding if we're going to get through a tough college football playoff. By the way, tough loss today for Penn State. Couldn't convert on fourth down against Ohio State. So Miami could be moving up to number four, and the world's largest cocktail party. And what are a bunch of people from Georgia and Georgia gonna do besides mate with their cousins? I'm just kidding. It's a joke. We're the state champs this year. Come on, I got to talk a little crap. But no, Alex talked about it, man. The 28-3 run for Duke and then the 36-3 run for Miami. It was like Miami said, all right, you know what? Here you go. Now, hold my, whatever you want him to hold. And bang, Cam Ward goes out there. And it was unbelievable. Tony's 31 points to Duke is a joke. This is not your same Duke team. They're not bad. They have a good offense. And they made the plays of their lives in this game. I mean, the plays of their lives, the throws by Malik Murphy and the catches especially. What an incredible job by Jordan Moore. The leaping grab with one hand, the over-the-back shoulder play. And by the way, incredible catches today as well for Jacoby George from Miami. Had the big touchdown in this game. But how about Xavier Restrepo? 8 catches, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the first one off the tip, the late one, and the 66-yarder that broke the records, made him the all-time leader in reception yardage and number of receptions at Miami. Michael Irvin, the first one to hug him, even gave him a kiss on the bench. Cam had an incredible game, except for the fact that, yeah, man, it was the turnovers. Cam Ward lost the fumble and the interception. It was a terrible throw back across his body, and the fumble was very late in the game, could have scored again. So you take those two away. Duke had forced 19 turnovers, but those 2 turnovers from Miami came in complete garbage time. Absolute complete garbage time. So not that you want to have the turnovers, not that you ever accept having the turnovers, but yeah, man, I mean, it just was, look at that final score up in there. And it just was one of those things where the turnovers by Miami didn't factor into the game. And then the defense, right? 3 picks from the secondary. Bain and Barron coming so hard off the edge. They've been playing together for a few weeks straight now. The big plays that were made earlier in the year by Ward, by Restrepo, the fourth down conversions to win those games against VTech, against Cal, against Louisville, the huge plays. You can see that confidence coming. The running game, I don't want to say we took a step back this week, but we didn't run the ball anywhere near as much. And I thought Duke came in and played a game. Look, they made the plays of their lives. Duke's skill players made the plays of their lives in this game. And they, for a while, when you're thinking about Duke, I mean, they had a lead. They were up on the scoreboard big, 28-17 with 10 minutes plus left in the third quarter. Miami goes on a 36-3 run. It was offense, it was defense. They forced 3 fumbles today. So 3 forced fumbles, 3 interceptions, only recovered 1 of the fumbles. So 4 turnovers for the defense. But maybe the defense should be a star of the game as well for Miami. You're watching the Locked On Canes postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. You see the headline over there. I can slide back over here after Alex. Cam Canes route Duke. There he is. Cam Ward, mean in green. today. Cam went nuts. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Heisman, baby. Strike a pose. Bang. You're right. I just did that. Strike a pose for Cam Ward. So make sure, hey, you give us that subscribe. You hit that bell so you know when we have shows coming. Get engaged in the chat. Let us know what you think. We are 9-0 Miami, and we're going to number 4 unless for some reason Penn State doesn't drop out of the top 5 with that loss to Ohio State being close. But I think they will. And Tony, hey, man, Miami's not a top 10 team. So overrated. That defense is the reason these games are heart attacks. It was a bit of a heart attack for a while, Tony, but I don't know if you're a Canes fan or not, but I feel like you just be hating up in here. Thank you so much, you, for being a part of our network and doing what we do every day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Alex Dono every day with Locked On Canes. Don't forget, Heat postcast tonight. Dolphins tomorrow, 2-5, going to Buffalo. Oh, boy, and the Jets are starting to heat up too. So that one's going to be fun. But today, it's all about the U, baby. 9-0 with a win over Duke. The Blue Devils go home having been spanked 53-31. Going to keep on going. When we continue with the show in just a minute, we're going to talk about that defense and that big-time effort today. Look, Cam Ward, amazing. Restrepo, Jacoby George, the offense, phenomenal. I want to talk about the defense. I want to talk about the defense. This is your Locked On Canes postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single day. And I get a chance right now to talk to you about one of our amazing sponsors that really helps me day in and day out. And look, we're doing a lot of shows here. We got all the postcasts. We got a lot of content, a lot of coverage. We need our energy. Our friends over at 5 Hour Energy, that's what they do for us. They know, and you can see mine kicking in right now. Let's go. 5 Hour Energy, they know that being a passionate football fan isn't just a hobby. It is a way of life. It takes a lot of energy to power through all-day tailgates, touchdown celebrations, or an agonizing second overtime. And luckily, we haven't had too many of those around here this year. But that's why 5 Hour Energy has created Stan the Fan 5 Hour Energy Shot. With a special flavor called Fan Fuel, the energy shot made just for super fans like you and me, the fans who are first in the parking lot and the last to leave. I see you. FanDuel sees you. We all sees you. 5 Hour Energy sees you as well. You know what else gave me a bit of fuel this week as a Hurricane fan? The moment when Cam Ward hit Xavier Restrepo for the 66-yard touchdown. He breaks the records. Number 1 all-time. My friends and I going crazy as that game was put away. 5 Hour Energy knows that no matter what team you root for, being a fan requires heart, soul, and a whole lot of energy. Whether you're prepping for the big tailgate or ironing your jersey, your game day to-do list is always a mile long, especially mine, host of the show. That's why the limited edition Stan the Fan 5 Hour Energy Shot is here to help keep you fueled throughout the season. What's your fan fuel this week? Whatever it is, do it with a 5 Hour Energy, available on 5hourenergy.com, shipped nationwide. And there you have it. Little 5 Hour Energy. Show them some love up there. 5 Hour Energy shipped nationwide. Check out that Stan the Fan 5 Hour Energy. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. Look at those numbers. Thank you so much for making us a big hit this year. And the Canes are helping with that 9-0 record. Don't forget, smash that subscribe and then smash, like Khabib Nurmagomedov, the UFC fighter who retired undefeated, smash the like button. Hey, and subscribe. And of course, you're going to see that bell. Ring a bell. So you know when our shows are coming. We're here on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast as well. Locked On Canes postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. At Jim Grease _Grease. Going to have the Heat postcast tonight. Going to be with the Dolphins tomorrow, postcast after the Bills game. And a little bonus here, you can catch me nationwide on ESPN Radio, wherever you get ESPN Radio on your local station, plus SiriusXM Channel 80, the app, the website, wherever. You can find me on the Worldwide Leader tonight, talking college football, talking NFL coming up as well. So a big weekend as well. Maybe a slap too, Sean. And look, man, Tony is he says he's a Miami fan and he's a realist. And we'll talk Georgia Tech game before the end of the show, and we will do it, and we'll have a lot of fun doing that. Georgia Tech with a big win to start the season over those Florida State Seminoles. But the numbers have been huge. Thank you so much again. Please subscribe, hit the bell, like, engage. Come on in the chat. Come on in, you, and we'll have a lot of fun and keep doing that, right? I got the green on today, the essence of W's. Look, 9-0, 3 more games in the regular season, ACC title game. boom. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom, boom. Here we come, Miami. All right, let's take a look at this game real quick. Miami with 14 in the first, 3 in the second, 15 in the third, 21 in the fourth. They score 36 points in the second half, 36-3 to close the game from the 10:40 mark of the third quarter. And that to me was what happened there. So it puts an end to a 28-3 run from Duke. And I'm going to hit the scoring summary for you here because you had a bunch of things happening in this game. Miami comes out and literally smashes their way down the field on the opening drive. Restrepo with the tip ball catch from 34 yards out, first of 2 TDs from him, made it 7-0. And then Ward hits Cam McCormick again with a big touchdown in a big home game. The 97th year senior, actually it's 9th, makes it 14-0. Jones with an 8-yard run for Duke. And here's what happened. 2 runs from Jones, 1 over 20-plus yards, and then the 8-yard touchdown, and 2 incredible catches. I mean, when you're talking about the catches that were made in this game, the play from where are we at here, and the interception, by the way, early in the game, Mish Powell, that was big because that led to the second touchdown for Miami. So turnover leading to points. We've talked about this a million times. It's football. It's basic. You know the deal, right? Well, Duke throws an interception. Miami scores another touchdown, makes it 14-0. And Duke, it's interesting, right? Because Duke now gets the ball back and they start going on this run. And in the midst of this run is when we saw a lot of things going wrong for Miami. We saw a lot of things start to really, hit the bricks for Miami. They fumbled the ball, you know what I mean? And there's a punt by Miami. Duke fumbles. We don't recover. And that would have been something deep in their territory that could have happened there. And then on Duke's touchdown drive, here it is, 4 plays, 83 yards. Malik Murphy passes to Samir Higgins for 21 yards. Peyton Jones runs for 27. And Murphy throws to Jordan Moore. Back over the shoulder, reverse. I mean, unbelievable. Over the back shoulder, 27 yards to the 8-yard line. His first of 2 brilliant catches on the day. This one was amazing. The second one, jaw-dropping. Peyton Jones took it in from 8 yards out. And then Miami, 3 and outs. We don't do 3 and outs. 3% of our drives had 3 and outs this year. We had 4 in this game, 3 in the first half. Not a good look for Miami. And on Duke's second touchdown drive, it was more conventional. 8 plays, 77 yards down the field they went. And, man, thank you, by the way. The numbers exploding huge right now. Appreciate you guys very much for just going through the scoring in this game. And Duke took the ball 77 yards to tie it up at 14. Miami goes 12 plays, 67 yards, and 624. But you know what? Man, they a nice 17-yard run by Fletcher. But then, just not a good job from there by Miami to pick it up. And they do not convert. They get first and goal at the 6 from Duke, and there's a pass interference penalty on Duke, puts them inside the 10-yard line. First and goal at the 6, Fletcher, no gain. Second and goal at the 6, 3-yard loss, fumbled, recovered by Cam Ward, bad play there, and then Ward sacked for a loss of 2 to the 11. Borregales, Andres with the field goal, and that was it for Miami. They had 4 drives where they were held scoreless. In between, they had just the field goal. So Duke's holding them to the field goal. They're scoring on every drive. Duke scored on 3 of 4 drives, and the one that they didn't, they turned it over on downs. And it wasn't by design. So put it that way. So then the end of the half comes. It's 21-17 Duke. And look, Duke, down the stretch they came, right, in that first half, that touchdown, the 7-play, 75-yard drive at 3:04. They scored the touchdown. And it was a big, big play from Peyton Jones again, 6 yards out. And that was from Malik Murphy. So Duke at that time is up 21-17. Miami 3 and out, 6 yards, 39 seconds. And then Duke just at the end of the half, nothing there. They took the loss on purpose. So Miami punts it after Duke scores. It's 21-17. And remember, Duke gets the ball to start the second half, right? So as soon as they start the second half, what happens, right? Oh, man, Miami comes down and, first things first, Duke gets the ball, and they come down and they score. Duke goes 10 plays, 75 yards, 457, and on a 4th and 1 from the 6-yard line, 4th and 1, they convert. Jordan Moore catches the 6-yard TD from Malik Murphy, and how about Duke up 28-17? This is what Alex was talking about. We were literally, wow, unbelievable. But then what happens? Miami scores on not 1, not 2, not 3. 3 consecutive drives. Then it's Cam Ward's terrible interception, which was 39-31. But in there, Duke had a field goal. Duke had an interception. Great plays by the Miami defense, and they scored touchdowns on 4 out of 5 drives right there, and 5 out of 7 in the second half. So 5 out of 7 drives, they had the pick, they had the fumble, both of them bad. The fumbles when the game was put away. The interception, it was 39-31. And I thought for sure at that point when Cam threw that pick, all the way across the field, he's up against the sideline, back across the body. Just not a good play at all by the Heisman frontrunner Cam Ward. And he gave Duke a shot to get back in that game. And to me, this could have been the turning point. A little tease here for you, but not really, because the turning point was when we started that 36-3 run. But when Duke got the interception and Miami gives the ball right back, what happens? They get the ball, Duke does, at their own 40-yard line, right? There's not a lot of time, plenty of time left in the game, but not a lot of time to keep overcoming these types of mistakes. 9:41 left in the game, and Peyton Jones runs for 3, then he runs for 1. Then they throw it incomplete. 2 runs in a row by Manny Diaz. Not sure why. They also kicked a field goal at one point to make it 32-31 Miami. And I'm like, why, bro? Why not just go for the touchdown there on 4th down? You're inside the 10-yard line. But it is what it is. And they go 3 and out, and they kick it away. 4th and 6 at their own 44. And to me, that was a big, big sequence from the defense, because what happens there? Cam throws his pick. 3 and out, we force a punt. 2 plays later, Cam to Restrepo, 66 yards. Interception by Miami. Jadais Richard, no. 3 plays after that, Fletcher runs it in from 1 yard out. And in between there, by the way, what a catch, and 2 catches in this game by Jacoby George. He had a 49-yard touchdown as well. 53-31, the U with the victory today. We're 9-0, baby. Looking to go to number 4 and possibly number 3 in the nation when the polls come out. At Georgia Tech next week, we'll take a look at that game on the other side, plus the graphics. We'll give you these stars. Co-stars of the game should be 3 if you count the defense, but co-stars coming up, the turning point, and the final score graphic. All those things on your way and more. You are Locked On Canes postcast. My name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _. Man, I love this 5-hour energy coming off a win like this. Let's go, Miami. Let's go. Because I get to tell you right now about FanDuel. Tomorrow's an NFL Sunday. Get ready to tackle that NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, hey, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Are you kidding me? The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. That's right. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And a reminder that tomorrow, I hope I love you tomorrow, because the Dolphins are only a day away. 2-5 at Buffalo. The Bills 6-2, first place of the division. Dolphins were in second. Jets got a big win over the Texans, looking like they're coming into shape and forming a little bit. So we will be here with your Locked On Dolphins postcast right after that game tomorrow here on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you get your podcast. That means Apple Podcasts. That means iHeart. That means Spotify. That means Stitcher. That means Podbean. That's everywhere. You can feel the 5-hour energy just flowing through my veins right now. So once again, thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen every day. Your postcast after every game. Got the Heat later, Dolphins as well. But thank you on behalf of Alex Dono and myself for making us a part of your day every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which, by the way, is you, your team, every single day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Look at the angel number, 111 right there on the screen. Miami with a big win, 9-0 over the Dukies, baby. And Miami with a huge performance from Cam Ward. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Xavier Restrepo, as we take you through the box score, we're going to give you the player of the game. We're going to give you the turning point, and we're going to give you that final score graphic before we talk about those Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and get on out of here. Cam Ward, 25 of 41, 400 yards, and on the dot, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, also had a fumble, and the 1 pick could have been very costly, but the fumble came late in the game when everything was decided. Rushing-wise, 30 for 127 overall for the team, 2 touchdowns, and it was Damian Martinez, 11 for 66. Mark Fletcher Jr. had the touchdown, plus 12 for 65. Elijah Lofton had a 1-yard or 2-yard or touchdown run as well in this game. And make sure we're still streaming there. Okay, we're good. And the receiving, wow, all over the map. Restrepo, 8 for 146 and 3 touchdowns. Jacoby George, 4 for 74 and 1 touchdown. And Cam McCormick had the touchdown catch as well. Isaiah Horton, here's a 6 for 71. Sam Brown Jr., 2 for 46. Almost got one in the end zone. Riley Williams, 1 for 29. Damian Martinez, 2 for 19. Elijah Arroyo, 1 for 11. Ward had a fumble. He lost it. No other fumbles lost by Miami. And Booker Pickett had a sack. Bain and Barron with the pressure all day long. Interceptions for Miami, O.J. Frederick Jr., Jadaius Richard, and Mish Powell. Big night for them on that. How about Chris Johnson Jr.? 5 kick returns, 115 yards, long of 31. Borregales, 1 for 1 with a 29-yard field goal. Dylan Joyce, 4 for 178, long of 50 on the punts. Miami with Malik Murphy, it looked like for a while headed toward a career day. He ended up 25 of 41, 325, 3 touchdowns, but the 3 picks. Peyton Jones, 12 for 71 with a TD on the ground. How about the receivers? Samir Hagens, 9 for 139 with the TD. Jordan Moore, 5 for 75 touchdown. Peyton Jones, 3 for 61 and the touch, as well as Eli Pankel, 5 for 36. Murphy also lost a fumble. The defense for Duke, they pressured Cam Ward all day long. Terry Moore with a sack. Reese and Bergeron with good games as well. Todd Polino with a 24-yard field goal was 1 for 1 for Duke. So Miami goes over 50 for the 5th time this year, breaks the string of all those consecutive 30-point games. They go to 9-0. Penn State loses to Ohio State, and the Hurricanes are looking like they're going to go to number 4 when the new polls come out this week. Jim Grieshaber, call me, Grease, just a couple of seconds, and I'm going to hit the chat room in just a moment to look ahead for you. But first things first, Grease. Freaks all the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies, those wanting money. All right, so here we go. We are going to first hit you with the final score graphic. Bang, look at that, 53-31. Miami with the win over Duke. They go to 9-0, and that's a great picture right there because the defense was just sticking them all day long. Great job by Miami, the 36-3 run after the Dukies scored that touchdown on their opening drive of the third quarter. It was all Miami from there, and had it not been for Ward's pick and a fumble after that, this game could have been in the 70s for Miami. So that's the final score, and then we have the moment. These are the moments I thank God when I'm alive. 36-3 run, starting at, I think it's more like 10:30 of the third quarter. Touchdowns and turnovers, TDs and TOs, baby, just like me. I tell everybody in my life, I'm 52 from the womb to the tomb. J's and Dre's. Well, I'm going to tell you, TOs with TDs, the TDs and the TOs, that's a winning combination for the Miami Hurricanes. They had 2 of those interceptions in that run, and they scored touchdowns on 5 of their 7 drives from the point when Duke scored to start the third quarter. That put the game away. How about the stars of the game? Never a surprise for this dude. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Threw a terrible pick, had a fumble late as well when he probably shouldn't have even been in the game still, but Cam Ward, after no touchdown passes, albeit with a touchdown reception last week, a very efficient game against Florida State, but the running game was the star of the show there. And Cam Ward, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns today. The co-star of the game, so who's going to be the other one? X marks the spot. Hey, X spots the mark, whatever you want to call it. Xavier Restrepo today was a glorious day for X, and what a game for him. 8 catches, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns, a long of 66 for the senior. He's only 5'10", 198 from Coconut Creek. And what is he now? Xavier Restrepo is the all-time leader at the University of Miami. And check this out, right? 182 receptions, number 1 on the list. 2,573 receiving yards, number 1. He passed Reggie Wayne. He passed Santana Moss. He passed Michael Irvin. Are you kidding me? The greatest of all time is Xavier Restrepo. We're going to throw him up right there with that U. So a great job by X in this one. And he absolutely, in the defense, by the way, forcing 3 turnovers and 3 fumbles as well. 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and they recovered a fumble. Could have been 2 more. 1 would have been special teams, so it would have been 5 overall. And they had Duke made amazing play after amazing play just to score those touchdowns that gave them the lead early. And, of course, you have Georgia Tech next week for Miami as we wrap it up on your Locked On Canes postcast. The Canes against Georgia Tech next week, and that's going to be an interesting game because we know Georgia Tech likes to run it. We know they have good run defense. We don't have a start time for that game just yet. Their quarterback, King, with 8 touchdowns and 1 interception, and Haynes, their running back. This dude is legit. 598 yards and 8 touchdowns on the season for Jamal Haynes for Georgia Tech. They beat Florida State and Ireland to start the season. And look, I mean, Georgia Tech recently, they lost to Louisville 31-19, but they beat this Duke team by 10. They had won against North Carolina before that. And so it's definitely no slouch, but Miami should win this game. Let's see if there's anything else I need to do before we get on out of here. I want to hit this chat room and say a couple of things. X is amazing. Congrats. Good job, Roger Owens there. And look, SMU over Pitt. That's a big game tonight in the ACC. Not going to matter for Miami. Look, Clemson's got a big one too against Louisville. And then, of course, you have Duke with this loss today sliding down a little bit more. It's just a matter of winning out for Miami. It's just a matter of winning our games. If we're worried about what's going to happen in another conference game between teams that we don't even really at any other time in our lives care about, you know what I'm saying? So I do believe, though, that you should keep an eye on these games and scout those future opponents. We still have Georgia Tech. We still have Wake Forest, and we still have Syracuse coming up. 2 of those 3 on the road. Conference championship on the 5th of December. And who knows from there. But a win is a win. They scared us again, right? A 28-3 run for Duke, making brilliant play after brilliant play as, hey, our offense is going 3 and out. But props to the Canes. They figured it out. Cam Ward, 5 touchdowns, 400 yards, and a 36-3 run from that opening touchdown drive for Duke at the start of the third quarter. And that was pretty much it for Miami. The way that Cam responds, the throws that he makes, he trusts his receivers to go up and get the ball, make plays. Look, the 3 interceptions, that was huge today for Miami as well. Saw some really bad penalties that we want to clean up, and I want the special teams in particular, the return game, to get better. But the last 2 TDs for Miami, a little shy of 1:30 on 4 plays. The amazing consistency of Cam Ward and the ability to strike for this offense, and being down 28-17, not even a flinch from your leader, mine and ours, Cam Ward. Georgia Tech next week. There is no time for that game set just yet, but we'll have the postcast right after. In the meantime, check out Alex every day with your Locked On Canes show and on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, on Fridays, we do the crossover episode, which is on his YouTube channel. We should probably put that on ours too. But very excited to keep that going. 9-0, baby. 9-0, probably going to be number 4 in the country, and we'll see what happens with Florida and Georgia. Maybe we could be number 3 at the end of the day today. Want to remind you to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and, of course, hit that bell so you can be alerted when we have shows and content coming up right here on the YouTube channel, plus wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Dolphins postcast tomorrow. Don't forget the Heat tonight. You can catch me on ESPN Radio as well. All right, that's all there is. Canes fans, there is no more. 7-2 SMU, better for Miami in my opinion, says Ecombo. But either way, it does not matter if we went out. Thank you very, very much. All we need to do is keep winning. Jim Greasehopper, call me Grease. I had to keep my man X up there for a while. There we go. I'll close the show on camera. Miami with the big win. Actually, we'll do this right here. 53-31. They beat Duke. That's the final from the Rock today. Again, Heat tonight, Fins tomorrow, Canes next week against Georgia Tech. Until next time, Canes fans, just want to remind you one more thing. Thank you for making us a big part of your day with Locked On Canes Postcast and Locked On Canes. Now, for your second listen, go check out the Locked On ACC podcast. Alex Donald, Kenton Gibbs, keep it real and bring you the truth about where your favorite ACC team stands within the conference. Find Locked On ACC on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you to FanDuel, our title sponsor of the show, and 5 Hour Energy. Hello, can you tell how I'm feeling right now? Miami with a huge win over Duke today, 9-0 after the 53-31 home win. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Canes fans. Guess what? We are